The rain wouldn't stop that night. It poured like the sky was mourning her. Inside a narrow one-room apartment, Clara Daniels sat on the floor, hugging a faded wedding ring against her chest. Her breath came in shaky gasps. Her eyes were red from crying. Lightning flashed, showing a framed picture of her and Leonard Hayes, her husband. The world called him a billionaire. She called him my heart. But tonight, even her heart didn't believe it anymore. 2 years earlier, she was just a cleaner at a roadside eatery. Every morning she carried buckets of water before dawn, then spent the day scrubbing floors until her hands cracked. She smiled through hunger, joked through pain, and prayed through every disappointment. Then one night, a convoy of black SUVs stopped outside the canteen. A man stepped out tall, polished, eyes tired. His name, Leonard Hayes, owner of Hayes Group. His shoes probably cost more than her entire life. Yet when their eyes met, something flickered, warmth where none should exist. He asked for food. She served it with trembling hands. He returned the next night. And the next, until visits turned into talks, talks into laughter, laughter into love. "Clara," he whispered one quiet evening, "I want to marry you. But the world can't know yet." She laughed softly. "Why? Are you ashamed of me?" "No," he said, touching her cheek. "I'm protecting you. My family, they'll destroy you if they find out." And she believed him, because when you're poor and in love, every lie wrapped in tenderness feels like truth. They married secretly in a tiny church by the lagoon. No flowers, no guests, only the pastor, the rain, and their promises. When he slid the ring onto her finger, she whispered through tears, "Even if the world forgets me, promise you won't." He kissed her forehead. "Never." But promises break faster than hearts. For months, he came at night, bringing perfumes, laughter, and dreams. She never asked for cars or clothes. All she wanted was his time, his voice, his warmth beside her bed. Then one morning, while buying bread, she saw the headline that shattered her soul. Leonard Hayes to wed business tycoon's daughter, Vanessa Cole. The paper slipped from her hand. Her knees buckled. The world blurred. That evening, when he entered her room smiling, she met him with silence. "You got engaged," she said, voice trembling. He froze. "Clara, listen, don't you dare explain betrayal to me," she screamed, tears streaking down her face. He tried to touch her. She stepped back. "I waited for you in darkness while you planned a wedding in light. You said you loved me. Was that a joke?" His eyes glistened. "I love you, but I can't lose everything I've built." She laughed bitterly. "Then I was just a secret you kept between meetings and lies." He whispered, "I'll fix this." She pointed at the door. "Then start by fixing yourself." He hesitated, but pride won. He left. When the door closed, Clara sank to the floor, clutching her belly as a dull pain spread through her body. And then she felt it, small, fragile, but real. Life. A tear slid down her cheek as she whispered, "God, he left me, but don't let my child suffer outside." Thunder rolled again. The ring still glimmered faintly on the wet floor. Abandoned. Like her. Days turned to weeks, and weeks turned into months. Leonard never came back. Clara tried to call him countless times, but each time, his number was unreachable. Her heart broke a little more every day. Yet she refused to hate him. She was carrying a piece of him inside her, a secret growing quietly beneath her heart. The pain of pregnancy hit harder than she expected. Morning sickness, dizziness, hunger, and loneliness that no one could describe. Her small room became her world. When she could no longer work, the landlord threw her out. She slept one night in front of a shop, her arms wrapped protectively around his stomach. That night, she whispered to the baby, "Don't worry, my little one. Even if the world rejects us, I'll love you enough for two." One early morning, while washing plates for a small roadside restaurant, she fainted. Kind strangers rushed her to the hospital. When she opened her eyes, a nurse smiled gently. "You're lucky, madam. Both you and your baby are safe." Clara smiled weakly through her tears. "Safe," she whispered. "Then that's all that matters." She named the child Bella, because even in pain, beauty could still be born. Years passed. Bella grew a bright, cheerful little girl with her father's eyes and her mother's smile. They live in a small one-room house, surviving on Clara's meager earnings from laundry jobs. But each night, when Bella slept, Clara looked out through the cracked window and whispered into the dark, "Leonard, you'll never know what you left behind." Far away, in a mansion glittering with wealth, Leonard and Vanessa were married. But not happy. He smiled in public, but lived in silence behind closed doors. And every time he looked at his wedding ring, his mind drifted to another, the one he left lying on the wet floor years ago. 6 years later, Clara walked Bella to school every morning, holding her little hand proudly even though her clothes were worn. Other mothers stared, whispering about her faded dress and old shoes, but Bella smiled anyway. "Mummy, don't worry," she said once. "One day I'll buy you a big house." Clara laughed through tears. "Just stay kind, my love. That's all I need." But life had more cruelty in store. One day, Clara's boss accused her of stealing money from a customer. She begged and pleaded, but no one listened. The humiliation was unbearable, being dragged out in front of people, her daughter watching, crying, "My mummy didn't steal." Clara hugged Bella tight, whispering, "It's okay, my child, it's okay." They walked home in silence, their dignity shattered but their bond unbroken. Meanwhile, in Leonard's mansion, Vanessa's heart grew colder. She loved status, not him. She treated their maids like trash and spent more time abroad than home. One night, Leonard sat alone in his study, his eyes burning with regret. He opened a drawer. Inside was a small golden ring, the ring he once put on Clara's finger. He whispered, "I wonder where you are tonight." Little did he know, fate was already working to bring their worlds together again. It happened one afternoon. Clara was walking down the street, selling vegetables to make ends meet. Suddenly, a sleek black SUV stopped near her stall. A little boy stepped out about Bella's age. He wanted to buy oranges. Clara smiled warmly and helped him pick some. Then she heard a familiar voice, deep, commanding, unforgettable. "Jason, hurry up, we're late." Her hand froze. She turned slowly and there he was. Leonard. Time stopped. His hair was different, his clothes more expensive, but his eyes, they were the same eyes that once promised her forever. He looked at her confused, then shocked. "Clara," he whispered, her breath caught. "Don't call me that," she said softly, trembling. "You lost the right." He stepped closer. "I thought you left the country." I searched. "Stop lying," she said, her voice shaking. "You didn't search for me. You replaced me." He looked down. Ashamed, "I was weak, I couldn't fight them, but I never stopped thinking about you." She laughed bitterly, "Thinking? While I starved. While I gave birth to your child alone." His eyes widened. "Child?" Her lips trembled. She hadn't meant to say that. Before she could move, Bella came running, shouting, "Mummy." Leonard froze, staring at the little girl. It was like staring into a mirror. Bella had his eyes, his smile, his soul. For the first time in years, tears filled his eyes. He knelt down slowly, his voice cracking. "Clara, is she?" "Yes," she whispered. "Your daughter." He covered his face, shaking. "God, what have I done?" Leonard couldn't sleep that night. He went home, but his mind stayed with Clara and Bella. Vanessa noticed his distraction. "What's wrong with you lately?" she snapped. "You've been strange." He stared at her coldly. "Do you really want to know?" She rolled her eyes. "Not really," he sighed. "I found someone today, someone I wronged." Vanessa laughed mockingly. "Another poor girl from your charity projects?" He didn't answer. Days later, he visited Clara again, this time with groceries and money. She refused to take it. "I don't need your pity. You had your chance to care. I want to make it right," he said softly. "Please, let me be part of her life." She looked away, tears in her eyes. You don't just walk back into a child's heart because you feel guilty. You walk in when she needs you, and when she needed you, you were gone. Bella ran into the room then, smiling. "Uncle, you came again," she said. Leonard's heart broke completely. He knelt and hugged her gently, whispering, "Yes, my princess, I came." Tears rolled down Clara's face as she watched the man who once broke her now holding the only joy she had left. That night, Leonard sat in his car for hours, staring at the rain. He called his assistant and said, "Find a house for Clara and my daughter. Quietly, somewhere safe, he whispered to himself, I couldn't give her love before, but maybe I can give her peace now. For weeks, Leonard's heart was torn between two worlds, the life of comfort he had built with Vanessa, and the quiet, pure peace he had found with Clara and little Bella. He tried to balance both, but love and secrets can never share the same roof. One afternoon, as he dropped Bella off at school, a camera flash went off from across the road. A journalist had seen them. The next morning, the headlines spread everywhere. Billionaire Leonard Hayes seen with a child. Rumors of a secret family. The story hit his mansion like a storm. Vanessa's voice trembled with disbelief as she read the news. A secret family. Leonard, what is this? He didn't answer immediately. His silence spoke louder than words. Her eyes filled with tears. Tell me it's not true. He whispered softly. It is. She turned away slowly, her voice breaking. So all those late nights, all those smiles you never gave me, they belonged to her. He said quietly, you can't hold love that was never yours to begin with. Vanessa's tears rolled down quietly. Then go to her, Leonard. But know this, no amount of riches will ever buy peace if your heart keeps breaking others to fix itself. She walked out without another word. And for the first time in years, Leonard felt both free and hollow at once. The sky was heavy with clouds when Leonard arrived at Clara's small shop that evening. She was sitting outside, sewing little girl dresses while Bella played nearby. When she saw him, she stood up slowly. You shouldn't be here, she said gently. I had to come, he replied. I told the truth today, everyone knows now. Clara's eyes widened. You told them? He nodded. The world knows about you and Bella. She sat down weakly, her heart racing. Leonard, why would you do that? It will ruin you. He smiled softly. Let it. I ruined you first. Maybe this is how life teaches me what matters. There was silence between them, broken only by the sound of rain beginning to fall. He walked closer, his voice shaking. I've made mistakes I can never undo, Clara. But if there's any place left in your heart for me, please let me stay. Her eyes filled with tears. You left me when I needed you most, he nodded, and I've hated myself every day for it. She looked away, whispering, you can't erase pain with promises. He took a deep breath, his voice breaking. Then let me heal it with truth. He knelt before her, under the soft rain, and said, Clara, I loved you then, I love you now, and I'll love you even when you no longer believe I deserve it. Her tears mixed with the rain. Leonard, I've prayed for this day, but I never knew it would hurt so much to finally forgive you. She placed her hand on his cheek, trembling. Maybe we both needed to be broken, to learn how to love right. And for the first time in years, they embraced, not as strangers or secrets, but as two souls learning how to begin again. Months later, the mansion that once knew only luxury and silence began to feel alive again. Leonard sold half of his shares and opened a foundation in Clara's name, one that helped single mothers and abandoned women start afresh. He moved with Clara and Bella to a quiet seaside home where laughter replaced regret. Bella often ran around the garden shouting, Mommy, Daddy, come see my flowers. And they would smile, because her joy was their healing point. One evening, Leonard sat by the balcony, watching the sunset. Clara joined him, resting her head on his shoulder. He whispered softly, I lost everything once because I thought love was a secret. Now I know, love was never meant to hide. She smiled faintly. Sometimes, God hides us not to punish us, but to prepare us. He nodded. You are my hidden blessing. Bella came running and hugged them both tightly. Mummy, Daddy, can we pray? Leonard smiled through tears. Yes, my angel. Let's thank God for giving us back what we lost. They joined hands as the wind blew softly through the curtains, carrying away years of pain. As the night fell, Leonard watched Clara and Bella sleeping peacefully. He whispered to himself, once I hid my wife in shame. Now I'll spend my life showing the world her worth. Outside, the waves whispered softly against the shore, the sound of a love that finally found light after years of darkness. Moral lessons. True love is not proven by words or wealth, but by presence. Leonard's billions couldn't give him peace, but one woman's forgiveness gave him a second chance at life. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, it redeems it. Clara's strength and mercy turned her pain into power. She didn't win by revenge, she won by grace.